Hello, thank you for joining me again. It's Saturday, October 20th, 2018, and I'm doing a new update to the current toss-ups. I did this last Saturday, and I just want to update from the last week on where we're at on the current toss-ups. And you can go to any political site like realclearpolitics.com, 538.com, and you'll find even Cook Political Report or Inside Elections, Sabato's Crystal Ball. Any of these sites are going to show roughly the same toss-ups. To keep it consistent, I use Real Clear Politics each week to compare their toss-ups. But for the most part, you can go to any one of those sites. You're going to find pretty similar toss-ups. So this is going to be pretty rapid fire as I burn through these current toss-ups and see where they're going to land and see what November 6th is going to actually look like for us. So let's begin with California 10 with Jeff Denham and Josh Harder. Currently, this is leaning. It's a toss-up, but 538.com gives Josh Harder, the Democrat, 76.9% chance of winning. Josh Harder is also leading in a Berkeley IGS poll by +5, although the California 10 does lean more Republican than the nation by 0.8 points. We see that Clinton won by 3 and Obama won by 3.6. I think as of right now, this is going to be a Democratic pickup, and Josh Harder is going to win this one. California 25, we have an incumbent, Steve Knight, Republican, being challenged by Katie Hill. This again was a Clinton win by 6.7 points. However, Romney won this one by 1.9 points. This Real Clear Politics is giving Katie Hill, the Democrat, 71.6 points, 71.6% chance of winning, and she also leads in a Berkeley poll by +4 points. However, Steve Knight is leading in a New York Times Siena poll by +2 points, and this district leans 0.1 points more Republican than the nation overall. Everything's said and done at this point. I think the incumbent is going to retain his seat, and the Republican Party will keep this one. California 39, we have an open seat where Young Kim is running against Gil Cisneros, the Democrat. Currently, the Republican Young Kim leads in a Monmouth poll by +10 points. 38.com is giving the Democrat Gil Cisneros a 68.4% chance of winning. We see that Clinton won this one by 8.6 points, and Romney won this one by 3.7. This is very, very close. This is a tough one to call. However, I think the Republican Party is going to pick up this open seat. In California 45, Mimi Waters, the Republican, is the incumbent, and Katie Porter, the Democrat challenger, is currently been given a 69.6% chance of winning by 538.com. She leads in a Berkeley poll by +7 and a New York Times Siena poll by +5. Although this district is more 4.3 points more Republican than Democrat in the nation overall, I still think the Democratic Party is doing well in this district. Clinton won by 5.4 points, where Romney won by 7.8. As of right now, I think the Democrat challenger is going to win this one, and the Democratic Party is going to have another seat pickup in California 45. In California 48, Dana Rohrabacher is being challenged by Harley Rhoda, the Democrat. The Republican is the incumbent. New York Times and Berkeley polls both show this is a tie. 538.com is giving the Democrat Harley Rhoda a 65.7% chance of winning, and this seat is 6.7 points more Republican Democratic. I show that Clinton won this by 1.7 points and Romney won it by 5.6 points. Romney won it by 11.7 points. That being said, I think the incumbent, Dana Rohrabacher, is going to retain his seat and win this one for the Republican Party. In Florida 15, Ross Spano is being challenged by Kristen Carlson, who is the Democrat. 538.com is giving the Republican Ross Spano a 55.9% chance of winning, whereas there's a New York Times poll shows this is tied. Trump won this by 10 points, Romney won it by 5.6, and it's a Republican majority by 13.4 points in the nation overall. That being said, the incumbent is going to retain this seat, and Florida 15 is going to go to the Republican Party. In Florida 26, we have Carlos Curbelo, the the Republican incumbent being challenged by Debbie Mucosel-Powell. She's an excellent candidate for the Democratic Party. I talked about her in a different video already. 538.com gives her the slight edge at 50.6. The Clinton won this by 16.1. Obama won this by 11.5. However, Mason-Dixon and New York Times recent polls show Curbelo up by 1 point and by 3 points. This is also a Democratic-leaning district. I'm probably going to be wrong on this one, but I'm still leaning towards the incumbent Carlos Curbelo and winning this seat in Florida 26. Florida 27, we have Maria Salazar and this is an open seat. Maria Salazar is the Republican, and Donna Shalala, the Democrat, are running. 538.com gives Donna Shalala, the Democrat, 81% chance of winning this one, where a recent Mason-Dixon poll shows Salazar up by 2. This is a Democrat-leaning district. It's 10.4 more points higher than the nation overall as a Democrat. Clinton won it by 19.4 points, and Obama won it by 6.7. I have Donna Shalala, the Democrat, winning this. This is a swap. Earlier last week, I thought Maria Salazar was going to win this one. At this point, I think Donna Shalala is going to win, and this is going to be a Democratic pickup for the Democrat. This is going to be a pickup for the Democratic Party. In Iowa 3, we have David Young, the Republican. He's an incumbent, and he is being challenged by Cindy Axne, the Democrat. Currently, 538.com is giving the Democrat, Cindy Axne, a 62% chance of winning this. She's also in the lead in the New York Times poll by +1 point. And David Young, on the other hand, is in an Emerson poll by 16 points. Now, that poll was done early in September, where the New York Times poll was done late in September. President Trump won this by 3.5 points. President Obama won it by 4.2, and it's currently a 2.4 points more Republican than the nation overall. That being said, I think the incumbent's going to retain his seat, and Iowa 3 is going to go to the Republican Party. Illinois 6 is currently a Republican seat held by Peter Roskam, the incumbent. He's a Republican, being challenged by Sean Casten, Democrat. This is an interesting race because we have the New York Times showing Roskam up by only 1 point, and 538.com is giving Roskam a 55% chance of winning. However, Clinton won this by 7 points. Romney won it by 8.2, and it's a Republican seat by only 2 points in the nation compared to the nation overall. With that, I'm going to stick with the incumbent on this one. I think the Republican Party will retain Illinois 6. In Illinois 12, we have Mike Bost being challenged by Brendan Kelly, the Democrat. Mike Bost is the incumbent Republican. This one, I don't think should even be a toss-up. It's 13.2 points more Republican than the nation overall. Trump won it by 14.8 points. Obama barely won it by 1.6 points. And this is in Illinois. He barely won it by 1.6 points. New York Times only shows him up, the incumbent Bost, up by 1 point. However, 538.com gives the incumbent 69.3% chance of winning. That being said, I don't think it should be a toss-up, and I think this is going to be an easier victory for the incumbent Mike Bost. In Illinois 14, we have Randy Hogarth, the Republican incumbent, being challenged by Lauren Wonderwood. Again, this is another one of those. Trump won by 3.9. Romney won by a resounding 10 points, and it leans Republican by 9.8 points over the nation overall. 538.com is giving the incumbent a 60% chance of winning. I don't think this should be a toss-up. I think this is an easy Republican victory, and Illinois 14 will stay in the Republicans' hands. On to Kansas 2. In Kansas 2, we have Stephen Watkins, the Republican, running against Paul Davis. This is an open seat. It was held by Republicans, and you can see why. It leans Republican by 19.1 points in the nation overall, and I don't think this should be a toss-up at all. Trump won this by 18.4. Romney won it by 13.2. However, there's an Emerson poll showing Davis up by 4 and a New York Times poll with Davis up by 1. Because it's such a heavy-leaning Republican district, I have a hard time seeing it go to the Democrat, and I think the Republicans will win the seat. In Kentucky 6, Andy Barr, the incumbent Republican, is being challenged by Amy McGrath. New York Times has Barr up by 1, and 538 is giving Amy the edge by 51.7% chance of winning. However, this is a Republican-leaning district. It's 10.1 points higher than the nation overall. Trump won it by a massive 15.3 points, and Romney won it by 13.6 points. I don't think this should be a toss-up, and I think this is an easy win for the Republican Party in Kentucky 6. In Maine 2, we have Bruce Poliquin, the Republican incumbent, is being challenged by Jared Golden. 538 is giving Jared a 59% chance of winning. However, the New York Times shows this is a tie. This is a Republican-leaning district. It's 6.2 points higher, more Republican than the nation overall. Trump won it by 10.3. However, Obama won it by 8.6. I think the incumbent has the edge on this, and Maine 2 is going to go to the Republican Party. In Michigan 8, we have Mike Bishop, the incumbent. He's a Republican being challenged by Elisa Slotkin. This is a Republican-leaning 7.2 points higher than the nation overall. Trump won it by 6.7 and Romney won it by 3.1. However, 538.com is giving Elisa Slotkin a 51% chance of winning, with the New York Times Siena poll giving Bishop a 3-point lead. I don't think this one should be a toss-up either, and I think Mike Bishop takes this with the Republican Party. In Michigan 11, this is leans Republican, 6.4 points higher than the nation overall. Trump won it by 4.4 and Romney won it by 5.4. Haley Stevens, the Democrat, however, is leading in a New York Times Siena poll by plus 7 points, and 538.com is also giving the Democrat a 77% chance of winning. However, there is a Target Insight MERS poll that shows tied that was conducted the 15th and 17th of October, just recently. With that information and how far it leans Republican, and that Trump and Romney won this one, I'm going to put Michigan 11 in the Republican camp. Although it's an open seat, I think the Republicans will retain this one. North Carolina 9, we have another open seat. Mark Harris is running against Dan McCready. Mark Harris, the Republican, Dan McCready, the Democrat. This one should not be a toss-up. This is a Republican district by 13.6 points. Trump won it by 11.6 and Romney won it by 11.6. 538.com has barely given the Democrat Dan McCready a 50.7% chance of winning, where the New York Times poll shows the Republican Harris up by 5 points. Again, I don't think this should be a toss-up, and I think the Republican Party is going to win North Carolina 9. In North Carolina 13, we have an incumbent, Ted Budd, Republican, being challenged by Kathy Manning. This should not be a toss-up. The Republican Party is up by 10.5 points in that district compared to the nation overall. Trump won it by 9.4 and Romney won it by 6.8. New York Times shows Ted up by plus 6, and 538.com is giving him a 64% chance of winning. I do not think North Carolina 13 should be a toss-up. It should lean Republican, and I think the Republican Party will win North Carolina 13. New Jersey 3, this was a difficult one. We have Tom MacArthur, the incumbent Republican, is leaning in a Stockton University poll by plus 2. It's a Republican district by 4.6 points, and Trump won it by 6.2. However, Obama won by 4.6, and there's a New York Times Siena poll that shows Andrew Kim up by 10 points. 538.com is giving Kim a 63.2% chance of winning. And with those kind of numbers, I have a hard time seeing the incumbent win. I think that this will be a Democratic pickup, and the Democratic Party is going to win with Andrew Kim in that seat. New Jersey 7, Leonard Lane is the incumbent Republican, and Leonard Lane is being challenged by Tom Malinowski, Democrat. This one, although it's a Republican leaning by 3.3 points nation overall, Clinton won this by 1.1 point, and Romney won it by 6.2. The Monmouth poll shows Malinowski up by 3 points, and 538.com is giving Malinowski a 63.7% chance of winning. With that information, I think this will be another Democratic pickup, and Tom Malinowski is going to win this in New Jersey 7. New Mexico 2 shows Yvette Harrell, the Republican, and this is an open seat. She's not the incumbent. She's just a Republican running against Cheryl Torres Small, Democrat. The Democrat leads in the New York Times poll by 1 point. and 538.com is giving Yvette a 56% chance of winning. This is a heavy Republican district, 10.8 points higher Republican than Democrat in the nation overall. Trump won it by 10.2 and Romney won it by 6.8. I think this will be an easy win for the Republican Party, and New Mexico 2 stays Republican. In Nevada 3, we have Danny Tarkanian, the Republican, running against Susie Lee, and this is an open seat. It was retained by the Republicans, but neither one is the incumbent. The Republican Party has a 5.4-point edge on this compared to the nation overall. Trump won it by 6.8. However, Obama won it by 6.2. There's a Monmouth poll that shows, there's the Emerson poll showing Susie Lee up by 2 points, which is not a significant lead. However, 538.com is giving her a 72.1% chance of winning. I think the Republican in Nevada 3 is going to win this one. In New York 19, we have John Faso, the Republican, being challenged by Antonio Delgado. This seat is Republican leaning, 4.8 points higher than the nation overall. Trump won it by 6.8. However, Romney won it by 6.2. Monmouth shows Antonio Delgado up by 3, and 538.com is giving Delgado a 56.5% chance of winning. However, because Trump won and it's a Republican leaning, I think this is going to go to the Republican Party. In New York 19 will be retained by the Republicans. In New York 22, we have Claudia Tenney running against Anthony Brindisi. This, I have a hard time with this one because it's a Republican leaning district by 12.8 points. Trump won it by 15.5, and Romney won it by 0.4. That being said, I think the Republican is going to win, although 538.com gives the Democrat a 59% chance of winning. And there's a Siena poll showing Anthony Brindisi, the Democrat, up by 2. I still think the Republican Party will retain this in New York 22. In Pennsylvania 1, Brian Fitzpatrick, 538.com is giving Brian Fitzpatrick, the Republican incumbent, a 50.6% chance of winning. However, Scott Wallace, the Democrat, is up in a New York Times Siena poll by +7. Clinton won it by 2. Obama won it by 1.9. Last week I said Fitzpatrick is going to win. This week I'm swapping that, and I think Scott Wallace is going to win. This is going to be a Democratic pickup in Pennsylvania 1. In Texas 7, John Culberson is running against Leslie Fletcher. Culberson, the Republican, is the incumbent. Fletcher, the Democrat. Clinton won this by 1.4. Romney won it by 21.3 points, and it leans Republican by 11.8. New York Times shows Culberson, the Republican, up by 3, and 538.com is giving Culberson a 51.9% chance, and I'm going to predict Culberson's going to win this one. In Texas 32, Pete Sessions, Republican incumbent, is being challenged by Colin Allred, Democrat. This is a Republican leaning district, again, by 9.6 points. Clinton won by 1.9. However, Romney won by 15.5 points. New York Times shows Sessions up by 1. 538.com is giving Sessions a 67.8% chance of winning. I'm going with Sessions on this one, Republican pickup. Utah 4 should not be a toss-up. I don't know why it's even shown. Miami, Mia Love, the Republican incumbent, is being challenged by Ben McAdams. This is one of the most Republican districts in the country, by Republicans up 20 points. Trump won it by 6.7, and Romney won it by 37 points. 538 is giving Mia a 58.5% chance. It should be significantly higher than that. This should not be a toss-up, and there's no way that Utah will not be a Republican seat on November 7th. In Virginia 5, this is another I don't think should be a toss-up. This is almost as Republican as Utah 4. In Virginia 5, Denver Riggleman, the Republican, is being challenged by Leslie Cockburn, the Democrat. However, it's interesting, 538.com is giving Cockburn a 51.8% chance of winning. This is a Republican seat by 14.4 points. Trump won by 11.1, and Romney won by 6.6. I think Denver Riggleman is going to win this one handily. In Virginia 7, Dave Bratt, the Republican incumbent, is being challenged by Abigail Spanberger, Democrat. This is a Republican seat by 12.6 points. Trump won by 6.5. Romney won by 10.5. 538 is giving Dave Bratt, the Republican incumbent, at 58.2% chance of winning. Monmouth says it's a tie. However, New York Times shows Bratt up by 4 points. I think Virginia 7 is going to stay a Republican seat, and the Republicans are going to win that. And finally, Washington 8, Dino Rossi is being challenged by Kim Schreier, Democrat. 538 gives Kim a 50.1% chance of winning. New York Times shows Kim up by 1 point. And there's an Elway poll conducted 4 through 9 October with Rossi, the Republican, up by 10. This is barely a Republican seat by 1.3 points. Clinton won by 3 and Obama 1.6. As of right now, I'm leaning towards predicting Washington going to Kim Schreier and the Democrat winning that one, showing a Democratic pickup. So after looking at all the toss-ups, on November 7th, I think we're going to wake up to see the Democratic Party having 212 seats in the House and the Republican Party having 223 seats. That's 6 seats shy the Democrats need to pick up to take majority of the House. And I don't know that that's going to happen. If the Democratic Party wins all safe, likely, and leaning, they'll have 205. They pick up these additional seats, that puts them at 212. I think on November 7th, the Democratic Party is going to come up short, and the Republican Party will retain control of the House. Thanks for watching. I enjoyed this fast run-through of the toss-ups. Please leave your comments and thoughts below. I'd love to see in which districts you think I was wrong, and tell me why you think I was wrong. Please provide polls, news articles, anything you can find for me. I'd love to do a greater analysis in each one of these areas if you can provide that information. Thanks. Have a good one.